wrestling fans, and we are the degenerates that want to talk about it. This is Kicking at It Too. As always, my name is Mike. I'm with Tori. Hey, Tori.
Hey, hey.
We are going to discuss ROH Final Battle.
Very nice. I was going to ask if you had a header for that one.
I do have a header for that one. Um, really good pay-per-view. I didn't know what I was expecting, to be honest. I never watched ROH back in the day. This is
No, I didn't either, and that's their first ROH pay-per-view I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, aside from clips from back when Danielson was in it, when Punk was in it, like I haven't really seen anything.
I
Um,
used to, I used to catch it once in a while. Like, it was on Channel 8 at like 11 o'clock at night on like a Sunday.
yeah,
And
um,
so I just, every once in a while I'd catch it, but
yeah, it's one of those things. Like I want to go back now that they have have it on streaming and all that stuff. I want to go back and watch some of the old stuff. See Kevin Owens, El Generico back in the day. See Daniel Bryan when he used to just kick people's heads in. Like I want to see some of that stuff now. So it's definitely something I plan on going back and do. And who knows? Maybe we can make a show of it. We'll watch some old matches
that'd be
and
fun.
talk
Just
about.
even pick out if we can get people responses, send us matches to watch.
Absolutely, we will watch. We'll watch matches. Except
We're
for
still
that,
calling him Daniel Bryan. We're going back to his WWE name. Is it a
hey,
government name now? Is that what we're doing?
that's his government name. So there was a pre-show, a quick 0 hour. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the pre-show.
I caught
Um,
about half of it because I
um,
forgot about it because it was the middle of fucking afternoon on a Saturday.
that's right. But we had Cobb versus Dorado. Cobb defeated Dorado. We had the JAS defeating Isom and Cheeseburger. I might have to go back and watch that one. I do love some cheeseburger.
Nah, that match
No?
was like 4 minutes.
Oh, well, that's
That
sad.
that shit was like a Bella's match, okay? Like it was not.
That's sad. I like cheeseburger.
I do
I've
too.
watched
And
some
the
of
other
his
guy
indie
that he was
stuff.
with did a good job, but
Yeah.
it was a complete squash match for the JAS.
Nightingale defeated Adora. And then Top Flight defeated the Kingdom. Per your suggestion, I did go back and watch the finish of the match. Really interesting finisher that they have.
That finisher is nice.
Um, like a doomsday moonsault blockbuster that is preempted by springboarding twice.
Yeah.
It's
That
basically,
Dante Martin, that kid is so talented. And
yeah.
the kid's fearless.
Hmm.
But no, that finish alone, them in the Kingdom. First of all, it was a good match.
Yeah.
Top Flight Kingdom, very good match. But that move, whoo,
Yeah, it was a really good move. That specifically, I'll need to go back and watch again, just what little I watched, even the segments leading up to it. At one point, like Dante did a backflip over one of them, and then led what's the other kid's name?
Darius.
Darius to do like a rolling in, flatliner. It was really pretty, really smooth. So I'm definitely gonna have to
When
watch them
Dar-
a little more.
I will say when Darius is healthy,
Hmm.
Top Flight is an exciting tag team to watch.
Okay, I look forward to them then. First main match of the night, we had Roosh and Dralistico versus Blake Christian and AR Fox. I personally was excited about this because I was excited about AR Fox. Seeing what he did with Samoa
Yeah,
Joe made me want to see what he could do in here. But this match went very strange.
I,
Um,
it seemed like there was a lot of things that it was one of those to me that it kind of looked like they were going a little off plan
yeah.
for some things.
Well, so it started off with real what seemed to be scripted chaos. Like everything seemed to be on the
Right.
reels to start with. We had Roosh getting, which apparently is what he used to do back in ROH back in the day, is he'd pull out the cables underneath the ring and choke people outside and all that. And the whole idea is that this is a pay per view. They're not going to DQ me, so I'm going to stretch the limit. That whole thing. But then eventually, it's just like moves weren't clicking and things seem out of touch, and then all of a sudden, Fox gets a win over Jalistico that it looks like he should have kicked out of.
It looked
Uh,
like he did kick out of very late and very slowly, but it looked like he kicked out before the
yeah,
three.
Um,
So I'm not sure what happened there. I'd be real curious to find some kind of report on that.
yeah.
Um,
But Fox looked very confused. He was trying to play off the win, and then Roosh grabbed him, and then like there was a very awkward back and forth between the two where he kind of shoves him into the announce table, and Era's just kind of sitting there like didn't know what to do. Like,
yeah,
what am I supposed to do right now?
I'm not sure what
Um,
happened there. Like I said, we at some point we need to find a this is what happened
yeah.
because
Um,
that didn't look right.
it didn't. What makes me think that something about the ending wasn't supposed to happen like that, specifically like the beatdown after, is like AR from what I could tell is still kind of new, kind of green as far as being on the mainstream, and so
Yes.
maybe he didn't know how to play off what was going on. But Christian took like a clean chair shot, got knocked, like he played along with what was going on.
Yeah,
So
you could definitely see the experience difference
yeah,
between Blake Christian and AR Fox when whatever happened at the end happened.
yeah. A couple of notable moments. Fox's chest was getting red before Roosh was even done chopping him. Um, those chops were just hellish. And the series of dives that Fox hit in that one sequence, like he did a plancha and then a plancha and then he did a senton. Like he was just bouncing all over the place.
That
Um,
kid is he's definitely I definitely think there's some room for improvement, but I like what I've seen so far.
yeah, definitely looked good. Definitely good movement. One of the dives was a little scary.
Yes.
He under rotated a little bit and like almost landed on his head. Um, but so in a very weird and odd fashion, AR Fox and Blake Christian get the win. So
Yeah, I'm not
good
sure
for
what that was all
them,
about. Like I said,
I
that
guess.
was
um, a match that I was really looking forward to, just because I wanted to see if they're going to continue playing the Athena is just beating the hell out of people gimmick, or if this was going to be a match. It was both because they beat
yes.
the hell out of each other.
Yes,
Um,
they did.
I do want to say just one thing that took me out of it is I understand she was trying to cosplay with her gear, but the googly eye on the forehead, I couldn't concentrate for like half the match. Um,
No, that I
maybe
was not a fan of that.
maybe face
Um,
paint it or something instead, but literally having a
yeah,
googly eye stuck to your head, I couldn't focus on what was going on.
yeah. Well, and Athena and Mercedes obviously have some history, and it
Absolutely,
wasn't bad.
yeah,
But
um,
I felt like this whole thing was a little awkward
yeah.
at times, and
It
I don't
was. I wonder if it's so like Martinez has been away for a while.
ring
Um,
rust.
a little bit of ring rust there, so that may have been it. And of course, they haven't fought each other in a long time. Like they have a lot of history, but it's been a long time since they've been in the
Yeah,
ring together.
that's
Um,
true.
and
It's been a
sometimes maybe
while.
it's hard to get that chemistry back. But like I watched a kind of one of those like uh, on the Indies type of biography thing, and it actually talked specifically in one spot about their stuff together. It's the first time actually I saw Athena before she came out as Ember Moon, so
Yeah.
it was a nice little precursor to what ended up seeing there. But it was a good match. It was really weird because I think Athena was supposed to be the heel in this match, but the fans were just not having that. They were
Well,
cheering her every step of the way.
because she's from Dallas. They were in like
Yeah,
Arlington.
yeah. What's really good about both of them and their experience is they seem to kind of switch that mid match, and so Athena started
Yeah.
kind of playing a little more babyface. Martina started playing a little more heel. So listening to the crowd moving along with that was really nice. Um,
It just shows their experience and their understanding of ring psychology slash working with the crowd.
Yeah. So Athena does set up and hit the O face for the win. So she is the new ROH Women's Champion.
I
I
like
think
it.
this entire night was building up like what are going to be the steady blocks of when we bring ROH officially back. And her being the head of your women's division, can't really go wrong with that.
Not a bad
Um,
place to start.
not bad at all. Um, couple of
Nothing against
little
Mercedes.
No, no, no.
Nothing against Mercedes at all, but in terms of crowd reaction and putting all the pieces together,
Yeah. I love
I feel like
Mercedes.
Athena's a much better option.
Yeah, I love Mercedes in the ring. However, I think Athena's a little more mainstream as far as her popularity.
I agree.
So if we're going to build, or rather rebuild this whole company to put it out there, having someone with a little more notoriety right now is probably the smarter choice.
I agree.
Um, I have seen just murmurs, nothing really said specifically, but that Martinez was talking about taking like a step back and maybe doing more of like a trainer role, like she was doing in NXT and such. And
You
her being a trainer for ROH would be invaluable. Like
well
her
that
being
and
back there.
you want to keep kind of the storyline going without the storyline
Yeah.
specifics. Make Mercedes the head of your women's division.
Mm-hmm. That's a good
Put her
point.
in there as a GM of the women's division, and
And that could be fun with her persona because she's
she's
not the
got the
prim.
personality for it. She's got the
Yeah,
mic work for it.
but well, I'm just trying to just kind of thinking like her versus like an AJ back in the day. She's not prim and proper. She's not going to wear the suits. She's not
Nah,
going to do that whole thing. She's going to come out there in like jeans and like a do rag hanging from her pocket, and just telling women like it is. I kind of like that idea. That's not bad.
I'd be here for it. I think it'd be
Yeah.
good.
Couple of notable things. Um, Athena in her entrance, she had the mechanical wings, and she decided to just kind of ditch them early. They
Well,
seemed to not be working.
I thought she just had a jacket on.
I don't know if they were attached to the jacket or what, but
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
Just seemed kind of awkward there, so she kind of ditched them, and just smart idea.
Since I'm
Um,
not watching TV, I was able to turn this so you can actually kind of see me now.
there you go. Athena was teasing her usual back handspring in the corner, and then stopping at mid move for a backhand slap. That was kind of fun. Um, just kind of
There's a lot of little things that Athena does
yeah.
that I'm a big fan of. I think I liked her in NXT. I liked her as Ember Moon.
Hmm.
Um, but I definitely think you're seeing more of her now, and I think that's a very good thing.
It is. I will say like her first start of a run in AEW, I wasn't a big fan.
I wasn't
Um,
either.
she was just trying to be like this happy baby face, and I'm happy to be
She's
here, and she may
having
be
seen
happy to be
this,
there, but
she's much better as a heel.
yeah, absolutely.
Much better as a heel.
Um, all right, so that leads us to Shane Taylor Promotions versus Swerve in Our Glory, which, I mean, the fun part of this is big meaty men slapping meat. I mean, just
Shout out to
uh,
Biggie.
that's right. Um, so, like, start this off by they walk out to the ring in their entrances. Keith Lee comes out after Shane, and he trying to like give him the little bit of fist bump, and Strickland just walks away, walks to the ring. So it kind of just precursor of like what we know is going to happen. We know this isn't going to end well for either one of them. Um,
I I was a much bigger fan of the idea of Keith Lee being a solo, being on his
mhm,
own. Once they started going with Swerve, I was like, okay, cool. And now they're slow building to this fight, this feud. I'm
mhm,
here for it. This stuff's going to be
absolutely.
great.
Well, and just like little things that they did, like one of my favorite moments is Strickland doing the moonsault off of Keith Lee's stomach, like like just little things like that. And it's like, oh my god, that is so creative and fun to see
Well, I
that happen.
mean, I don't remember who. Oh, it was Seth did a moonsault off a fat guy at an indie show.
He did.
So, I mean, maybe he owes Seth something for that. So,
Maybe he does. I don't know. Um, so it was kind of a perfect matchup. You had two smaller guys, you had two bigger guys. So no matter what, we're either getting.
I don't see my microphone on the bottom part here. Am I showing up?
Yeah,
Okay. I still want a repeat of earlier.
yeah. No. Um, so let me say that again. It was a perfect matchup of teams here. We had two smaller guys, two bigger guys.
Right.
So either we ended up with two fast-paced guys working together, two big guys working together, or you swap the two out, and then you got a big guy being able to dominate a small guy, or a small guy being able to outmaneuver a big guy. So definitely, definitely a good way to match up the two things.
I
Um,
enjoyed it. It was an overall a good match. There was a lot of
yeah,
craziness.
absolutely. It was a good match. It's one of those that I don't want to over talk it just because it's. I think it would be fun just to go watch it, especially for fun little moments. Um, Leading towards the end of the match, Keith Lee was able to dodge a kick from Griffey that then connected with Taylor. This allowed Lee to hit the BBC, yeah, BBC. Um, did you not know that was the
That's
finish?
that's what they call that.
So it's the Big Bang Catastrophe, I think. Did you never know this? They called it that in WWE as well.
I knew they called it the big. I
Yeah,
vaguely remember hearing the
BBC.
name. I don't remember them using the letters.
Well, that's what he called it. He would use the letters on the Indies, and then just when he came there, he's like, "All right, well, we'll call it the Big Bang Catastrophe," and they kept it. So anyway, so yeah, he was able to
Oh,
do that and score the
let's
win.
tiptoe that line that we should be nowhere near.
Yeah. Um, all this was preceded by Swerve walking out. There's a moment where Lee accidentally hit, and it was a legit accident. Like it wasn't one of those that he smiled after or anything like that. He swung, and the other guy moved, and Swerve got it. And so he rolls out of the ring and slowly walks up the ramp, and then they start to beat down Keith Lee.
I thought he was going to come back.
I did too. I was highly because just the way they were doing the camera, they kept it away from the entrance way.
How
It seemed like it was
slow
gonna be
he
one of
was
those.
walking.
Yeah.
I thought he was
Um,
coming back, but I I said it before. I am so ready for this feud. This is
yeah,
going to be so much fun.
absolutely. Some notable moments about this. The way the Arlington, Texas crowd reacted when Swerve was depriving us of seeing Taylor and Lee face off was hilarious. Um, like you mentioned,
Every time they would get in the ring together, Swerve would tag himself in,
yeah,
which was just great.
yeah. So like we knew what people were paying to see. They wanted to see the two big men go at it, and Swerve was denying them that, playing the heel, which it was
He
very
plays
well done.
such a good heel.
Yeah. Um, Lee caught Taylor in his arms and like a baby, just and then I'm
Like he
telling
was holding up Simba.
yeah, and then Taylor telling him, "Don't do it, Mama will be mad. Don't do it." Just
I
great
want to know who,
reactions.
like,
I know.
is
I
Mama
want
going to be a thing?
to. I don't
Please don't
know.
be. As long as it's not Buff's Mama, we're fine.
Well, maybe it's Shelton's mama. We don't know. Um,
Oh, that was bad too. I forgot about that. I knew there was somebody
um,
else's mama.
Seeing it, and he's done it so many times, but it's just still seeing it. Seeing Keith Lee hit a moonsault off the middle rope is just
He
insane.
is so crazy athletic for being as big as he is. It
Yeah,
just he's another one like we were talking about on the previous show. Him and Bam Bam, give me all of it. Give
yeah,
me every bit of that. I just Keith Lee defies logic with his size and ability.
yeah. Absolutely. He's a freak of nature, and
You could, and it's one of those you could put the world title on him, and I'm here for it.
yeah, he's the one out of the multitude of people that got let go in that last big like run that I don't get. Um,
I
the
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say the rumor around it was that Vince didn't like his interviews. That was all it was. You shouldn't talk like that. Um, and okay, if that's the case, like trust me, the look on your face, I get the same reaction. Racial undertones aside, um, stick a mouthpiece with him. Stick a Robert Stone with him. Stick someone with him. If you don't want him to do interviews, if you don't want him to talk, fine. But don't put a Bearcat gimmick on him and then fire him. The man, even if he was a mute, you do a gimmick where someone crushes his windpipe, he will still get over because he
Here's
will meme it to death. He will do amazing things in the ring. There's no reason that guy should have been fired.
Vince's just disgusting racism aside. Um, First of all, I personally am a fan of Keith Lee interviews because of how intelligent he speaks.
So
Like I
I'll add to it. It's the intelligence, but it's also the deliberate
yes.
way he says things. He
Yes.
doesn't go out there and ramble. He doesn't go out there sounding like he's thinking, 3 hours ago what he's going to say now. He's thinking about what he's saying right now, and he is very deliberate in what he's going to say to you.
And it may not be the most entertaining of promos, and I get that. But it gets the point across.
Mm-hmm.
It builds whatever needs built, and it just makes him better.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to soapbox this, but you could put a world title if with what they had done with Keith Lee when Triple H had NXT. If he went back, give me Keith Lee Roman the second he walks in the door.
Absolutely.
Him and Roman faced off at Survivor Series, wasn't it?
It
And
was.
Keith Lee did the business.
Yeah, he hit that falling power slam, spirit bomb, and like at a moment where Roman is untouchable, I thought, holy shit, are they having Keith Lee beat Roman?
And then after it was over, Roman shook it. Like if Keith Lee leaves and goes back to WWE and Roman still has the title, sign me up for the main event of WrestleMania because that match is going to be fucking stellar.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
There will
here's the
be.
thing, like I think he's wrapped up in like 2 or 3 more years at
Oh, I'm sure that
AEW.
he is. I'm
But
sure that he is. I
here,
just
here's the thing: if he could come back right now, you want to know who's going to stop the Roman Reigns run? That's
Keith
him
Lee,
right there.
100%,
Yeah.
100%, and it's 100% believable.
Yep.
His wife's there. Why not?
Right. Did you hear?
But
Hold on. I gotta rant for a second.
okay,
So wrestling fans are toxic, and
we've known
now
this for years.
Mia Yim has closed down her Twitter account because she took a picture with Austin, with Austin, of her like he's got her held up, like her legs around
Theory?
him. Yeah, Theory. And everybody was dogging her because she's with Keith Lee and she can't take a picture with another dude. They bullied her off of Twitter over a fucking picture. I don't understand why people like it. So we have done segments talking about Bret Hart and his character. We have
Right.
done segments talking about the crap opinions of certain old heads that think their opinion matters.
That crusty.
At no point, at no point am I going after someone in their marriage. At no point am I going at someone about their personal life.
I mean, I took
That
the
is,
shot at Brett about sunny days, but that's a whole different conversation.
but that is in reference to what could or could not have been, because like that
It's
still
never
is
been
always,
confirmed.
yeah, it's never been confirmed or denied. It was part of the story. It was part of what happened in that story. At no point have they put on TV that she's cheating on Keith Lee with Austin Theory. So them bullying her because she took a picture with someone who she's obviously close with, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Right. And what are you gonna next? You're gonna tell me that her and Shelton Benjamin have a thing going?
Right.
Like, come on.
It's so dumb.
It's,
And here's the thing, like normally I would step off and I would say, I would try to make this fun, try to make this funny, and say that's what I'm going to miss most about her being gone. No, what I'm going to miss most is the fact that she felt like she had to shut off her life because of people and their dumbass mouths.
yeah. It's frustrating
Yeah,
because your owl's in the way here. Sorry.
that's all right.
You can turn it down. We good? Okay.
Did, did you say
Grace is
her
home.
owl's in the way?
Yes, there's an owl that she could paint, and
Who?
it's in front of the little sensor for the TV.
Who?
Woo! Nicely done. Nice. Um, that's just
It it it's
we're
dumb.
right up there with Harry Styles fans. We're toxic as fuck.
Yeah, it's like you can't just enjoy what's happening. Like, I
She took a
mean,
picture with somebody. Like, stop it. It's not like it was a picture of them having sex.
yeah,
I just
I
that's
don't get it. But anyway,
so no. Keith Lee is a world beater, and I'm here for it. Give me all of the Keith Lee.
yeah. So that leads us to the trios title match: Dalton Castle and the Boys versus the Embassy. Um, this is one of two matches that I. Just, mm, it was a match that happened. Um,
Did you go take a poop, get some food? Like,
no, I watched this whole thing. I lost the
oh no,
whole.
it was on. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
we were talking about something else. We could have been talking about anything else, and I'd have been fine with it.
yeah. We had talked in one of our previous recordings when he was in the Battle Royal that we didn't quite get his character, and I still don't get it. I've watched a full match with him and the boys, and I still don't quite understand this.
I
Um,
think his character is one of those that he's a very
Flamboyant.
niche character
Oh,
in that. Do what?
I was saying flamboyant.
Well,
I didn't
no,
know what
it's just
word
a
you were looking
very
for.
niche character in that if you haven't been there for the whole thing, you're like, what is this? People
Maybe.
that know who he is and have been there for the journey
Yeah.
love him.
The video package they played before, and he was talking about he's got the peacock energy flowing through his veins, and I'm like,
Right.
what the shit is this? But
I,
I don't get it. If it's your thing, cool.
right.
I'm not gonna down you for what you like in wrestling. It's I say it all the time. That's why wrestling, in my opinion, should be a buffet. There's something for everybody there. If that's yours, then okay. I don't get it. Um, to me, I looked at the three guys on that side of the ring and thought, just with Cage alone, there's no way you're winning this match. Um,
I saw that size comparison and I was like, are we serious right now?
yeah, it was um, ending the match. Embassy hit a 3-man power bomb to get the pin and become the new six-man tag team champs.
I'm not
Um,
sure if it was more impressive, the power bomb itself was more impressive, or how they did it.
yeah,
Because they picked him up and threw him to Brian Cage for that power bomb. And I was like, oh shit.
yeah. It,
Okay.
it wasn't like an old Shield thing. It definitely
No, there
was.
was no. This was we're gonna chunk a dude at your face, catch him and throw him on the ground.
Couple notable things. Cage comes out with Chris Canyon style mask from when he was when he was Mortis. Nice little touch. Um, he trained him. So
Really?
from my understanding, yeah, Chris Canyon trained Brian Cage. So
Shameless plug. This is who better.
who better? That's right. Uh, for those that don't know, we have shorts out, and one of my favorite people in the world is always Chris Canyon, and so we rank 5 things. Can't change your ranking, and we call it who better. So,
And I laugh every time because I
yep,
loved Canyon when he did that whole who better than Canyon thing because that shit was brilliant.
yeah. One thing I will say about Castle, even though he is a niche character, he is a performer. He's a showman. Him, the entrance coming out with the wings and his talking to the camera and 360 while he's talking to the camera. Like, he's a showman. I'll give him
Yeah,
that.
he's got the
Um,
show part. I need to see more of the go part because
yeah.
I
Um,
definitely, to me, I can see him as a manager type role.
yeah. I could
I
definitely see
very
that.
much could see that.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite things, I don't care how many times I see it, doing curls with your opponent will always get a pop from me because you're curling a human being.
And Cage did it a couple of times.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
that whole team is huge.
yeah. So I mean,
I don't remember the other two guys' names,
it
but
was uh Toaliana and Khan.
Tia, Toa Toliana, Toliona,
Yeah.
and Khan.
Khan. Kaun.
Okay,
So at least they had
but yeah,
names.
no, I
Castle
look
had the
at those
boys.
three. Huh?
At least they had names. Castle just has the boys.
Right. They don't. I think they actually have names that were used at some point. I just don't remember them because
Yeah.
they're inconsequential. Um, just looking at the three of them against the three of them, the boys and Dalton against Cage and the Gates of Agony.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does anybody really see? Did anybody think that Dalton was winning this?
Yeah. It. I say I like to be surprised. However, like if Dalton would have pulled this off somehow, to me it would have been too unbelievable.
Right.
Because
I'm okay with suspending belief.
yeah,
I'm not okay with ridiculousness, and that's
yeah.
what that would have been. Like I would have
Well,
expected Rob Deerdeck to pop out and be like, "We're just kidding."
and commentary kind of even mentioned a couple of times like how basically useless the boys were, like in general. And so once you're already basically saying, all right, you got Dalton Castle and these two guys that are useless.
To
If he
James
would have
Ellsworth.
won, yeah, if he would have won, then it would have been too unbelievable.
I
Um,
agree. I definitely think that's you've got to have. I mean, if it's a way just to get the titles off of them, okay, cool. But that was this could have been on the pre-show, and I wouldn't have cared.
yeah,
You could have switched this and that Kingdom Top Flight match, and I'd have been a much happier camper.
yep, definitely would have made more sense to me. But gotta have the titles on the pay per view. I mean,
No, you
that's
don't.
we'll differ on that opinion. I always hated when like tag titles for some reason were on the pre-show,
I don't
and
have a problem with it if you have a match like this or
mhm,
a match that is a big match but isn't as big as what else is going on.
yeah, I get you.
And that's so, yes, I agree. Titles should be on a main show, but there's going to be times where they're not, and there's a reason they're not. This match did not need to be there.
Fair enough. Speaking of big title matches that need to be there, though, ROH Pure Championship,
It was a great match.
Daniel Garcia versus Wheeler Yuta. This is a rematch from the last time they had this match. Um, Jesus H Christ. First of all, um, I always love when there's a sparingly used gimmick.
Right?
The Pure rules, I didn't think I'd like. I really kind of like it.
So
Um,
during the pandemic, I caught a couple of ROH shows,
mhm,
and they had a bunch of pure matches, which I'm okay with. It was the guy they had that had the title was really impressive, and I don't remember who it was. Um, but I saw it the first couple times, and because the first time I saw it, I didn't catch the whole match,
mhm,
so I didn't understand all the rules. But once I saw the match and how the rules work, I
mhm.
was like, I really like this.
Yeah, just the little things because it makes it so the tropes of wrestling that normally stop a match don't stop the match anymore. You know, they get the one free closed fist, and that's it. You get one. Do a closed fist again, you're disqualified. And if you're disqualified, you lose the title. because you didn't follow the
Yeah.
rules. I like that little
Yeah.
twist. Getting
Yes.
3 rope breaks and only 3.
And after the third one, the rope doesn't stop a thing.
Exactly.
Um,
And then just ROH in general with the 20-second outside instead of
I'm
10.
a big fan of the 20
Yeah.
count.
Um, I did find it interesting, kind of just to loop back to the women's match. Um, Athena rolled back in at 9 3/4.
Habit.
Yeah, and it's purely like you could see that she's just not used to that 20 count yet. But
No, I definitely think I would like to see more of the 20 count for specific matches, title matches. Um, Obviously, they're going to have it with Pure,
yeah,
but I just matches that matter.
a sprinkled gimmick, kind of like
Yes,
yeah,
something
not
that
overused.
we don't need to do it every time. And I still would not hate a count out every now and then with that.
Hmm.
Like you had a 20 count and you still didn't get back in.
Yeah,
You know, but no, this match I was really enjoying this match, and the way that Garcia made Yuta use his rope breaks was brilliant.
absolutely.
Garcia is a talented ass wrestler,
Yeah, and then Yuta tried to do the same thing.
and
Um,
Garcia outsmarted him.
yeah, yeah, it was interesting. So like speaking of those little things, so like as soon as the bell rings, Yuta and Garcia are throwing forearms at each other back and forth. Garcia throws the first closed punch though, and so that eliminates his first one. Yuta, who you think's going to take the high road,
Does
the
not
next
take the high
thing
road.
just socks him straight in the face. So now we're both done with our one closed fist option. So it
Well,
was cool to take that away really quickly
right.
because now that's not an
I was going
option.
to say the fact that that was done, it changes. It's not going to change them specifically or how they're going to do this match, but it changes what you can and can't do, and you have to be conscious of that
Right.
for the entire remainder of that match.
Yep. So I mean, it's one of those like they added more stipulations to it, but adding more stipulations to it has also made it a little more freeing because now you have to find a way around this thing.
Yep.
And as a heel, Garcia, him irritating him, pissing off Yuta to get him to maybe hit him one more time.
Yep.
You know, it puts
It
more in his
changes
bag.
psychology.
Yeah.
And I
And so
like
then,
part of the reason I like the Pure is there's a lot more ring psychology to it.
yeah. Garcia definitely had more of the upper hand through the entire match. This definitely seemed like more of his match to win.
I felt like,
Um,
yeah, I agree.
but yeah, I mean, he definitely he had him wrapped up a few times. Forced him to use his 3 rope breaks because the rope was right there, and the only way he could get out is grab the rope. So smart on his part to get that out. Um, it was a technical masterpiece. I mean,
I enjoyed it. I
it,
enjoyed
it
the hell out of that match.
it makes me sad that next week or later this week at this point, I guess, um, Garcia is probably just going to go back to being part of the JAS.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't, because Jericho lost the title,
Mm-hmm.
Daniel lost the title. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't start seeing some cracks in the armor and Garcia walking away.
Yeah, I, I I hope so. I do because
He's
the way, in my opinion, they dropped the ball in that Garcia storyline of him wanting to be in the combat club, and he just kind of went back to being the same guy he has been the entire time. There was
right.
no growth to the character at all.
No,
Um,
and with Regal gone, I definitely think having Brian Danielson kind of go, look, I'm still here, dude.
yeah,
I don't think would be a bad thing to do. And let's be honest, Brian Danielson, Chris Jericho, I'm here for it every day.
absolutely.
That is always a great match.
I will say after seeing this match, if they end up turning Garcia back around and he becomes wanting to be a professional wrestler again, I'd kind of like to see him and Yuta in the tag team.
That'd be nice.
That would be fun.
That
Um,
yeah,
so Yuta ends up winning the match by doing a series of elbows that just knocked out Garcia. So
regaining the title. I thought the ending was it because Code of Honor.
mhm.
Um, I definitely thought that him kind of kicking his hand away and picking up the belt and handing it to him was as close as we were getting to a handshake. But I think it was a good sign of respect.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so Top Flight got into a brawl with Daddy Magic and Cool Hand before this match got going. Um, it was a fun little brawl before it happened.
Right. And part of that, like I said, was the fact that Daddy Magic was like, I'm surprised you completed a match without tearing an ACL to Darius. And then was like, what are you going to do? Hit me. And then Dante just out of nowhere blasted him.
Yeah.
So I'm here for that feud. I think that feud will be fun.
A couple of things that I pulled from the match specifically. Um, First of all, stepping on your opponent's face against a metal turnbuckle. That's always like that's just cold.
Right.
Um, and then not many people can pull off a good sharpshooter. Garcia's
Right.
sharpshooter was pretty.
Right. No, I agree. That was Garcia is just his overall ability is just it's impressive for as young as he is.
It is. He's going to be a player for a long time, um, as long as he can go, and I think sky's the limit for him eventually.
Yeah, I definitely think we need a little more personality out of him.
Hmm.
But no, I that match was really good, and you obviously saw my reaction to the turnbuckle thing.
Yeah, that was thick. Uh,
That was
so
well, and the fact that they did it to each other was just like, man, that's a
yeah.
nice touch.
Speaking of sick and painful, FTR versus the Briscoes for the
Oh my
ROH Tag Team
god!
Championship. Christ, double dog collar match, bloody as hell.
What I was asking was, do we want to do the rest of the show and come back to this? Because for me, this was the main event.
Um, we can come back and talk about it.
Okay,
Let's just go. The Briscoes win. Dax passed out, uh,
hellacious match.
and Wheeler was unable to get to him. We'll talk about the details of this match last. Um, Samoa Joe versus Juice Robinson for the ROH TV title. Um, you seem to like the match. I it was what it was for me.
It was what it was for me, but it wasn't a bad match. Like this to me made more sense being on the pay per view than the trios titles.
Okay.
Um, I, CJ Parker, Juice Robinson, he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad performer. He's been in the ring with everybody under the sun on the independents.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys in WWE, he was against them in NXT when he was CJ Parker.
Right.
Joe's a different level. Joe's just a different level.
He is.
He's to me, him and Keith Lee. It's
He's,
unfair to other people that size.
yeah.
How good they are. That Uranagi he hit on Juice Robinson, Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Like that was one of the nastiest Uranagis I have ever seen.
Yeah, Joe's a different breed.
Yes.
And just I mean you nail it right on the head as a guy who's a bigger guy. Like seeing how he works in the ring and how he can move. Like I wish I could move half that good.
I
Just
couldn't move half
amazing.
that good when I was in high school. Shit.
Yeah. There's a reason why like when I create characters in video games, generally they have a lot of Joe moves
Because
because
Joe moves are like I said, at no point did I even think Juice Robinson was a threat to win this.
no.
But it wasn't a bad match. It was solid. It wasn't great, but it was a solid match.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess like it it was a decent match. I guess just I don't know. I've come to love Joe matches, and it didn't feel like a normal Joe match to me.
Well, but it's an ROH show. I think some of that is the show and who he was wrestling. Juice isn't a
Yeah,
bad opponent. I just that was so Joe is so in such a dominant position right now.
yeah,
There's nothing they can do to not make Joe look strong. You know what I mean?
right. Well, and to a point you made earlier when we were just talking about it, what they followed might be also a big part of it. Like
Look,
following that match,
I
it's
said it
hard.
earlier and I'll say it again. There is no reason. I get why, again, I get why the title is the main event.
Hmm.
But like the NXT show the other night, that tag title match was way better
Yeah,
than that world title match. And I am in no way taking anything away from Claudio and Chris. It was a good match.
yeah.
But to have to
This,
follow that double dog collar, Briscoes, FTR, third time's a charm,
yeah,
like you can't just nobody would it didn't matter who you put there. You could have put that trios title here, and I still would have made it a food match. It wouldn't have changed anything.
yeah. I mean, it's Steve and Kane versus each other after the Hell in a Cell with Undertaker and Mankind. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way to get past that.
There's not. And you're not beating that.
Yeah,
The crowd by the time they got to this match, the crowd was exhausted.
yeah,
Just because
um,
that FTR Briscoes match was so intense.
yeah. Um, so Robinson comes out. He's in full Bullet Club gear. Um,
Except that his shirt said Rock Hard Club. And I'm just like, ugh.
well, he fell limp tonight. Um, they started off with simple lockups, like being a basic wrestling match. Eventually, it ended up into them just trading punches. Um, despite the good effort from Robinson, Joe hit him with the Muscle Buster for the win. Um, like you said, like I didn't think anything different was going to happen. Um,
No, I didn't either.
crowd was into it, despite the fact that they were exhausted. We got some Joe's going to kill you chants, which are always fun to listen to. Um,
Well, and like I said, the Uranagi, the dive to the outside, did he hit a nope?
I don't remember a nope.
But which I'm fine with. It doesn't need to be every match.
Yeah,
But that Uranagi, he slammed him through the damn canvas. That shit was nasty.
yeah.
Like I'd
Um,
have just rolled out of the ring and been like, I quit.
that certainly looked awesome. Another thing that looked awesome is Robinson hitting Joe with that delayed side suplex. Like
Yeah.
Parker, Parker. I'm still calling him CJ Parker. Robinson doesn't look like he has like that kind of strength behind him.
He's
So
yeah.
doing that was really impressive.
No, he doesn't look it, but he's one of those guys that he can definitely do. He doesn't show it in terms of muscle mass, but there's a definite solid core strength there.
Yeah, yeah,
So, like I
um,
said, I think part of the problem with this match was what it followed.
yeah.
I
That
would have much rather seen this match earlier and then that trios match put it here. Because, again, no one thought Dalton Castle was winning, and the boys were winning that.
yeah.
Put it
Uh,
here. No one cares. Give the crowd a chance to refresh before the main event.
yeah. To that point, I might see if I can watch it tomorrow with fresh eyes, just that match, and see maybe if I like it
Yeah.
a little better without sitting through FTR.
I'm in no way saying this is a 5-star or anything. It just
No,
wasn't a bad match.
yeah.
Juice
Uh,
Robinson's still a better sports entertainer than he's more over than Bret Hart. Um,
and so's Road Dogg.
right.
Um, so that leads us to the main event: Chris Jericho versus Claudio for the ROH World Championship. Um, again, it seems like this whole pay per view is putting the pillars in the ground of what's going to hold up
I
ROH when it
agree.
becomes a thing.
I agree.
This match notwithstanding. Um, so right off the bat, Jericho immediately chose not to obey the code of honor and kicked Claudio instead of shaking his hand. Um, he ran out to go try to attack the announcers. which I was confused about until it came to your mind, what it was
He's
about.
been going. He's been going after Ian Riccaboni for a bit, and hasn't gotten to him yet.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that was where that was headed. Boy, they ran out of there. Oh my god, they ran like they stole something.
Yep. But Swiss catches him when he's out there and literally
He hit that
just
uppercut, and I was like, "Oh Jesus!"
hits the uppercut, throws him into everything under the sun out there, like up against barricades, up against the stairs, up against the ring. He was just throwing him everywhere. Um, Jericho playing defense more in this match, which was nice
Very much
because
so.
it makes sense because you got the speed and the power of Claudio.
Right.
How are you going
You
to
know,
combat that?
watching this match, I could see where it was headed, but I still didn't trust it.
Yeah. Um, so towards the end of it, Daddy Magic slipped Jericho a bat behind the ref's back, and he used it to hit Claudio. But Claudio managed to kick out of that. Then he made Jericho tap out to the big swing.
I was really surprised by that, but at the same time, it was a good surprise.
It was.
I
I
fully
did fight.
expected Jericho to win this. I honestly didn't think Claudio was getting the title. Um, I'm glad they did. I agree. I definitely think you've got the Briscoes, Claudio, Wheeler, Yuta, Athena, and Joe. I don't really care about the trios title. I
Yeah,
don't. As your five main title
yeah.
holders. There's no downside to any of that.
See, I'm actually on the other side of things. I figured Claudio was going to win. It to me, it just made more sense. If we're going to put ROH as its own thing, then we need to separate it. We need to get the sports entertainer
That's fair.
out of it and get the
Well,
wrestler
and
in.
at the time when I saw this originally, I didn't know ROH was getting its own show, which they didn't
Yeah,
even. Had I known that ahead of time, then yes, I'd have been like, "Oh,
we
Claudio's winning this."
didn't even know the paper
Um,
was coming at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
but yeah, and I think we talked about it on a different show. But the media scrum after, Tony Khan said that ROH will have a weekly show. I think he said a weekly show on Honor Code or whatever their
Yeah,
online access thing is for like $10 a month.
yeah,
You're gonna need to refigure that because I'm not paying $10 a month to watch 4 shows a month.
yeah.
Not happening,
No,
bro.
no.
Um,
Maybe cut it to 5. Maybe put the ROH library there. Something. Give me something else.
something, but you put the shows on YouTube.
Hmm?
Put the shows
Yeah.
on YouTube. Something.
Build
I just
build your YouTube numbers.
so no Jericho Cesaro was a good match. Wasn't
Yep.
great. Like you said, Jericho played a lot of defense. Was on the run a lot, which
Hmm.
just we made Claudio look strong. That's all it was.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of strong, like he muscled him up into a gorilla press and just like tossed him into the ropes.
Claudio
Uh,
is
eh,
They said in WWE he was probably pound for pound the strongest guy in the locker room, and I'd be willing to bet that he would have given anybody, excuse me, Mark Henry included, a
mhm.
run for their money.
Absolutely. In fact, actually, Mark Henry is one of the ones who always said that too. So if Mark Henry's telling you that he's pound for pound one of the strongest men back there, that's
That's
saying a
saying something.
lot.
Yeah.
Um,
So
I do think so. Him tapping out to the big swing, I think is it's an interesting choice, but it's a good choice. Um, did you see the Twitter beef with that?
no,
So some schmuck said that it was not believable that that happened. Uh,
I would have
the bit
thrown up like 4 swings in, so I'm not sure what
well,
they're talking about.
and so that's the thing. So he's talking about how like that shouldn't have ended the match. Um, Chris Jericho replies to his tweet and just says, "Have you ever been in that, you idiot?"
That's
And I'm like,
amazing.
perfect. That's a perfect answer.
Yeah, that's you can't argue with that response.
Can't at all.
So no, good
Just a
match,
second.
solid.
Tried to cancel, but it stopped. I tried just that. Sorry to bother.
And that's why we can't have nice things.
Well, what?
And
I'm gonna hit you with a chair like I hit Ron. Um, so yeah, I mean it was a good match. I do agree with you though.
good match.
I think the tag team titles would have been a better thing. Ended off with that. So speaking of that, let's go back to that because
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
okay. So for those that may have not listened to our other episodes, I was watching this match while we were recording the Raw review. And I'm not gonna lie, there's parts of the shit of Michael talking I don't remember
hmm
because this match was fucking crazy.
So let's just talk about some of the spots in general. First of all, Harwood lost a tooth, like right at the beginning of the match.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. There was the chain assisted doomsday device,
Okay.
which Jesus Christ. Um,
Yeah,
uh, there was the chain assisted headbutt that are
he was trying. Look, your head is bald and it's kind of roundish. You're gonna need to work on that, bro, because that was not happening. There was
yeah,
no hair to hold that chain in place, so he just held the chain there himself and hit it. That
yeah,
was so. I was like, what is happening?
just insane. There was the moment where trying to remember it was Wheeler and I want to say Jay was outside.
I don't
Who
know.
Wheeler was tied to one of them. That one was
Right.
outside, and so the chain is like taut as he's trying to choke the other one.
Yes.
Um,
And then
and
Dax
then
gets thrown into that
yeah,
chain,
Jesus,
and then Dax is beating on whichever of the Briscoe he's tied to,
yeah,
and goes to hit him and blasts the ref,
yeah,
who I
Re-
will say bled like Ric Flair old school. That was great.
absolutely, it was a beautiful
I
job.
don't know who he was, and I
Um,
feel bad for that guy, but that was so good.
yeah, first of all, a ref getting color like that's something you never see.
Which is why I loved it.
Yeah,
Booker T would have been
um,
like, "Get this guy some help."
yep. And then Dog and FTR because they have too many championships and they shouldn't be coming down here.
Right. They have
Um,
more championships than him.
uh, this whole match was just insane.
I, literally, this is one of those. If y'all haven't seen it, go
Watch it.
find this match and watch it, bell to bell. First of all, these four are kind of, to me, from what I've seen of the three matches they've had, New Day Usos. Like
Yeah,
it just
yeah. They definitely have the chemistry together. Um, to I mean, a dog collar match. There's a
is
reason why
crazy.
it's there's a reason it's not used very often, and that's
Right.
because you have to have the right partners in there to make it look good. Um,
Even in
you
a
have
one-on-one, you've got to have
yeah.
the level of trust, the understanding that some things may go wrong and we have to adapt.
hmm
How to do these moves without killing someone. I
Which I
just
which I don't think they even cared about that at this point.
well,
um,
but
uh,
matches like this are why I hope FTR does not go back.
yeah, because they couldn't do this kind of stuff.
No, absolutely not. I see matches like this, and it's why I can I either say don't go back, or Trips rips the door off the hinges and lets these things happen.
Yeah. Or at the very least, make that an NXT shtick that they get that down there, and main roster is more family friendly. That'd be
Well,
fine.
not even just this match, but letting FTR have these matches with people that I'm sorry, FTR and I when we were doing our tag teams earlier. I know we were just doing WWE tag teams, But in terms of all-time favorite tag teams, I can't neglect the Revival when they were there
Mm-hmm.
because FTR is literally one of the best tag teams in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Dax, to me, is easily top 5 wrestler of the year.
Absolutely.
Dax has had and it's one of those things he's talked about. Cash has no desire to be a singles wrestler.
Right.
Dax enjoys it. So Cash
Mm-hmm.
is like, go for it.
Yeah.
Like he supports.
It's very much the Dudleys.
Yeah.
Devon has said so many times, like, he had no desire to go on his own singles run, and he hated the fact that he got split up. But it's something that Bubba
Bubba went too.
wanted. Yeah.
Yeah. This match this was New Day's Uso, Hell in a Cell kind of good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not a huge Briscoes. I don't have a ton of knowledge about the guys,
Mm-hmm.
other than things we've talked about. But give me more of them.
Yeah. They're really good. I think in the same vein as the Dalton Castle thing, I think they're a niche tag team,
I agree.
but it's part of that group that I like. Like, I like just hard nosed, go out there, beat the shit out of people wrestlers,
Right.
and that's
Yeah,
all they are. They're just good old boys that go out there and they will just knock your head off.
Well, and it's one of those though. I was like that butterfly pile driver. Oh my god!
Mm-hmm.
Some of those moves were just so, and they looked smooth, but
Yeah.
you could still see them making sure the person they're working with is not going to get hurt.
Yeah. The way they set up the moves, the way they set up some of the spots, like the spot where Wheeler pulled his opponent off the ring apron using the chain
Onto the
chairs. Just perfect precision. He hit it just perfect, and it looked so devastating.
Yes. Well, and then there was something that happened from the inside to the outside, or something that happened outside where they're both laying there. And, anybody that's watched wrestling for a while, you see guys grab onto somebody's arm,
Mm-hmm.
kind of are you okay? Grab a hand, something to say, hey, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't know the specifics of what it means. If it's I'm conscious, I'm good. Nothing's shattered. We're good. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Whatever. But to see and it happened with all 4 of them at different times.
Yeah.
Checking each other,
The
making
in-ring
sure
communication, the in-ring
yes,
chemistry.
the nonverbal little things.
Yeah.
Just this match was so good. It was so good.
I mean, it was crazy in the best way possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
First ROH show that I've watched, I am definitely here for more.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't mind getting to know some of the people that, and like we kind of talked about, let's going back and watching some of the old matches, old shows. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that the Young Bucks and Adam Cole and Fish and O'Reilly, Red Dragon and Bryan Danielson, Claudio, KO, Sammy, all of them came through here. Joe, all of them came through here.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's tons of others. Those are just the ones I think of off the top of my head. And I would definitely love to see some old matches. I know Jeff Cobb is in New Japan, but he was an ROH guy. He's a beast.
Absolutely.
And
I'd like to see more of this history that Lee and them have. Like,
yes, Shane Taylor, Keith Lee.
Yeah, seeing what that was about, because seeing them against each other, it was badass enough. Now you're telling me at one point they were together as a team.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I'd love to see that.
Right. No, I'm here for it. I definitely think that I definitely think we need to do some viewing parties, or we find a match, send it to each other. Hey, watch this. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Maybe, I don't know, call it Review Rewind or something. I don't know.
Something. Figure something out. Find old matches that are fun to watch. Even some of the stuff that, is kind of problematic nowadays. But at the time,
Yeah. I mean, at the time, we just wanted puppies and stuff. So,
I know that's right.
And now JR is out there wanting more apparently. I don't know. That man's getting problematic.
That's a whole different. We're
Yeah.
not. I'm not doing that.
No.
I will say I do enjoy Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman as an announced
I
team.
absolutely. I had never heard of these two, um, and I know that apparently Ikebani, is that his name?
Yeah,
Okay,
Ian Riccaboni.
Riccaboni. All I could hear was Ricky Bobby every time they were talking to each other. Uh, but uh, from my understanding, he's on AEW. One of
He
the
comes on the
shows.
AEW to do the ROH matches.
Okay.
So,
Um,
like, if Jericho has a title match, Ian Riccaboni will join the announce team for that match. Usually, Tony
gotcha.
Schiavone leaves.
Um, they're definitely a good duo. At no point was I tired of listening to them.
No, Caprice used to
So
wrestle. Caprice was a
yeah,
wrestler.
well, I caught
Um,
that because they mentioned a couple of times that he had won the TV title a bunch of times
yeah,
and all that.
he was good.
Um,
It just is another one of those. He didn't ever catch on with the mainstream. When I say mainstream, the big boys, the big two,
yeah,
which is what it was at the time, which was WCW, WWE.
right,
Um, but the little bit I've seen of Caprice's matches, he was good.
yeah. Well,
But no, I like
and
them as an announced team. I definitely think they have a great chemistry together. Excuse me. So yeah, they perfect 2-man booth.
yeah, I think they're definitely a good duo. Um, and not hearing bickering back and forth, not hearing fighting back and forth. I do get tired of that on WWE's programming, where like one's playing face, one's playing heel, and they're just constantly
Right,
biting at each other. Um,
right.
I don't
I
care
enjoy
for that.
I enjoy Taz and Excalibur's back and forth because it's usually amusing.
It's amusing, and it's you can tell it's playful banter.
Yes,
It's not like he's not sounding like he's serious when he's berating him.
because they're usually laughing about something.
Yeah, they're both corpsing because of some stupid thing that Taz said or
Right. Yeah. I like Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman. I'm here for it. Having seen enough of the ROH stuff on AEW and getting Bobby Cruz as the ring announcer and so on,
yeah.
I just it was a fun show and I definitely would enjoy seeing more of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely it's much like NXT to me. Like it's now been added to my okay. I've got to find time to watch some more of this,
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
and maybe not while we're recording.
Right.
um, but it's a great time to be a wrestling fan.
Very much
There's
so.
so many great choices out there, so much good programming out there. It it's not to the level which I don't think anything ever could be at the level of like Monday Night Wars and how
I
crazy
think
that
we'd have
was
a
back
hard
then.
time. I don't know that the Monday Night Wars will ever happen again just because it would take such a massive downfall of
Mm-hmm.
Raw and SmackDown. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if Vince comes back, it's possible.
And they
But
tear up all the scripts when he comes back.
every long, I'm not. It's one of those things that it definitely is because there's so many options. Like you said, it should be a buffet.
Yeah,
Not everybody wants the same thing, and that's fine.
yeah.
Some
It,
people want the CGW, crazy deathmatch type matches.
mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed the beginning of the tag match with Roosh and Blake Christian because there was that initial back and forth. I love that.
Yeah.
I love
It's
it.
it's great just because there's so many things that are there. You have the NWA, which problematic as it sounds now that some people have left and have said some things, but uh, that aside, the programming that you see on TV, it's that old school feel,
Yeah,
back to sportatorium days and things like that, and
you expect Larry Zabisco to walk out or
yeah, so
old school guys that you grew up on.
Yeah. That kind of stuff is fun, and then you have the AEW, which is more of the indie spot show kind of fun stuff. You have the WWE, which is the stalwart, the one that's always been there. Uh, and now we have ROH, which is now it's another type of thing to throw out there where it's
Yeah.
just pure wrestling, and that's fun. That's
There's a
fun to
lot of
see.
different options with it. So
Yeah.
I agree. I definitely think it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. I'm glad we, after 16 years, finally started doing this.
Yeah, it's I don't know what stopped us from doing it. I don't even know what started us to do it. It just literally like we both one day decided, hey, we're gonna do it.
Well, it started after the Kali rant. You were like, we need a wrestling show of some kind.
Well, yeah, no. As far as when we started to
And
want to do
then,
it, for sure.
but then we started this group, the Facebook group, Kicking Out at 2. Shameless plug.
Yep.
Like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. The name's there, and all the socials are under there. But we started this 5 or 6 years ago and talked about it, but life got in the way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and if anybody listening to this gets to roll with us and have some fun and listen to people whose opinions don't really matter for
They don't.
anything.
Not at all.
But
they're fun to get. They're fun.
Yeah.
They're entertaining.
You get to hear things like the only thing good about them is that is two things that died. Shout out to one of our followers and friends, Brian. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for giving us feedback.
Okay, for those that haven't listened to it, we go listen to the
Getting Heat.
And it's the Bret Hart episode. Brian told me today that he was listening to it, and a line that I dropped in that literally made him spit his drink all over the monitor at work when he heard it.
Yeah.
So, and I'm pretty sure you'll know what it is.
For sure. Little programming warning. So that specific series, I do label for 18 and up, because if it's something that is on that particular side of our channel, it is going to be something that we are passionate about, and a lot of times that means that insults are going to fly, F-bombs are going to fly, and it's not something you should listen to in the car with the kids in the car. So
no, this is not rated E for everyone like my hands.
My hands are like a doorknob. Everybody gets a turn.
But yeah, so, and we definitely will be doing more of different series like that. We're trying to find stuff. Yep. Feedback. We want it all. Give it to us.
Absolutely.
Tell us we suck. It's fine. We'll start playing Kurt Angle's music. We don't care.
Yeah. I know I suck. It's fine. That wraps up another episode of Kicking Out at 2. Thanks for spending your time with us. If you're enjoying the podcast, please support us. Share the episode. Share our channel. Follow and hit us up on all the socials that she's pointing down there below. If you're listening on Spotify, leave us a rating and a review to catch the latest from us. You can follow us right here on the channel at YouTube/@KickingOut@2. Until next time, I am Michael. That is Tori. Come back and have some fun with us.